Hello everyone. So in this episode of the cooking system, this is what we are going to work on. Now that when we have put all the ingredients required, I can start cooking the meal. So I can turn on the stove and increase the heat level to 1 because we are supposed to make this dish under low heat. So if I increase the heat, cooking will pause. We should maintain the correct intensity, correct heat level, and once it is done, this turns into cooking finished and we can turn off the stove. So this is the part we are going to implement today. So as of now, as you can see, there is no mesh for the finished meal or anything. It's just we are working on this cooking progress, and detecting the state when it's ready to cook and when we are cooking and when cooking is finished. And we are going to implement all the listeners and everything to listen to the stove so that we can detect when we actually started giving heat into the pot. So yeah, those are the things we are going to work on today. And before we get started, let me remind you that you can download the project files of this project and all other thousands of projects I have done in my channel from the Patreon page. Once you become a member, you can access everything without any limits. And also here is the full playlist. Everything is implemented from scratch and explained, so you can follow these episodes and implement everything by yourself too. And also this episode is sponsored by this generous patron. Thank you very much for your support. Right, so this is what we have worked on so far. Here we have the recipe here and drag and drop all ingredients according to that, and then we get this ready to cook state. So the next step is starting the cooking process, actually cooking this. So yeah, so to do that, now that's what we are going to work on. So let's open the recipe widget, and here this ready to cook. So I want this to become a progress bar so that as we cook, this should fill up. And also here I already have the recipes. I already have put chicken and put it in water and boil for 2 minutes. But we don't have a variable that says how long we need to cook. So for that, I'll add a variable too. Let's say cook time, and also under what intensity of the flame, because we have 3 levels. If I play the game here, you can see this is flame level 1, this is 2, this is 3. So low, medium, high. So we can have something like cook 2 minutes under low flame, something like that. So to define that cook time, this should be a, let's say, float, and flame level, or rather heat level. It's also a float. Default values, I'll say 1 minute, and heat level also 1. Okay, now, all right, now we have the variable, and if I go to recipes, we already have default values 1 and 1 for this chicken potato soup. So let me close it now. Now here, as I said, this is a button right now, but this should become a progress bar. So how do we change it? Maybe if I replace this with an overlay. Okay, ready to cook. Now we got some errors. it's okay because this is not a button. Even though it was a button, I wasn't really clicking on it, so therefore it's fine to change it into an overlay. Now here, instead of button, change this cooking state. Let's just call it cooking state. Now here I'll use that. Drag and drop again. Correct. Now, since this is an overlay, let's add a progress bar under the overlay. It should be before the text. Take up the entire overlay to cook. Oh, looks centered now. Okay, so let's change this progress bar to green. Same green as this. Let's pick it. Okay. Now the fill color, it's blue. So yeah, I think blue works. So as I cook, this should feel like this. And I'll change this progress. Okay. Okay. Now we need a way to listen to the stove so that we know when cooking starts and when the flame is turned on and when the flame is turned off, and also what's the flame intensity or heat level. So to listen to that, here, let me open the stove blueprint, and here I'll add event dispatcher. What should I call it? Let's say on heat level, changed. Heat level changed. Okay, let's add an input to pass the heat level or the flame intensity. Now let's call it, yeah, we already have this flame level variable. Where is this? This set flame intensity. So here we can call heat level changed, and I'll pass flame intensity or flame level as this. Okay, now from the recipe we can listen to this, and here we have a function where we set the state to ready to cook. That happens where update ingredient list. All right, here when all the items added, we set this. We enable visibility of this overlay, cooking state overlay. So let me collapse this into a function. Let's call it toggle ready to cook state. Okay, now go inside here I'll change this parameter name to ready. So once we are ready to cook, we can start listening to this stove flame intensity. So here, branch, if we are ready, I'll first I need a reference to the stove. So get actor of class pp stove and bind event to on heat. No, heat level change. Bind event to heat level changed. So here, let's create an event and create a matching function. Call this on cooking state changed. And also here, if this is false, let me interchange these two nodes. First, I'm gonna have to have two of these same node. If this is false, I'll unbind this one. So heat level changed. Unbind all events from heat level changed. Yeah, that's one. I should do that if I am not ready to cook. Okay, now we have a listener. So here, now when the heat level is changed, and this will be called only when we are ready to cook. That means we have all the ingredients already in the pot. So now I can access this recipe data and break. Not interested in the cook time and heat level. Now, if the heat level is equal to the required heat level according to the recipe, that a branch and how do we do? Maybe we can start a function with a timer. So let's add a function called cook. Here, set timer by function name. Okay, function name cook. Now since this is a timer and I need to update the progress bar within this, so I'll call loop and the time interval how much. So this is passed in seconds. 0.1. I'll promote the store variable because I would need this when I update the progress of cooking. So put timer interval. By default it should be 0.5. Yeah, 0.1. Okay, and I promote this to a variable called timer. For some reason, if this is changed, I should stop cooking. So we can get the cook timer clear and invalidate. Okay. And now we already set this default value, it's 1, but this is not minute, this is seconds. So maybe 20 seconds. Let's put. This is the default value. So that means I need to check in the data table, recipe data. Since I had not changed this, it's already updated to 20. Okay, now let's go here. So since we are cooking, maybe we should have another float variable here, cooked time. So this will represent how long we have been cooking the dish. So I'll get the cook time and add this cook timer interval and set cooked time. And now we have the progress bar, cooking progress. We can set percentage of this. So the percentage would be cook time divided by the total time we need to cook based on our recipe. So break, right, and get the cook time, divide, put it here. Okay, so when we come to this stage, that means here when we start the timer, I also need to change this label, which is this, from ready to cook to cooking. So change this to a variable, text cooking state, but text to and here for some reason if I stop, I'll set ready to cook. Also this is on cooking state changed. This is for heat level. Let me copy this. Also we might need to update that. We already have this reset recipe. So here, yeah, here I'll change this to 2. I'll put it this way. Okay, now let's see what happens. It's easier to test and see if anything goes wrong. Okay, ready to cook. Now start cooking. See? If I change, now this pauses. It's not progressing anymore. But we have the ready to cook state. If I restart, it's cooking again. Once it's done, we should call it finished, and I should stop heating further. So that is something. Yeah, now it's still cooking. Stop. So once we are done, we should have something like finished. So how do we do that? If this is larger or equal to 1, that means we are done cooking. Let's add a branch. So after this point, that means cooking finished state. Maybe we should have function. finish cooking, call it, and I call it from here. Now here I clear this timer again. Clear and invalidate the timer. And also maybe I should stop automatically. I should stop the stove. So should I promote the stove variable? Maybe I should. Variable is stove. Okay. Now here BP stove validated get just in case. Set flame intensity. Maybe this is not a good idea because this is only meant to call from the UI that I control the stove. So I will not do that right now. I need to think of a way to do it. But I'll just set the cooking state, not the overlay, the text. Set text. In finished. Okay. Now let's see. Ready to cook. Now start. So if I change the heat level, increase the heat level, now this stops because this is not the required heat level. So one is the low heat is the required heat level, so it's cooking. And once it is done, this should change to cooking finished, and I can turn off. Oh, now it again became ready to cook, which is not something that should happen. So that happened because I'm still listening to the listener of the heat changed. So we need to unbind from that. Heat unbind all events from heat level change. Okay, now let's try again. By the way, if I put something wrong ingredient, reset. That is still working. Okay, start cooking. Okay, cooking finished, stop. So yeah, now we are back in the cooking finished state. Okay, so maybe we would need another button that says cook something else. And once we are done finishing, we should pop something in the UI like meal is ready or something, and maybe put back the finished meal back into the inventory or something like that. But let's look into those things in the next episode. And also, we need to show something here instead of just this potato and this meat drumstick. Maybe we should actually show some soup. So that is also something I'm planning to address in a future episode. So thanks for watching. As always, updated project files will be available for download here in the Patreon page. Link would be in the description below. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.